Alrighty guys, welcome into a brand new Wonderlands video. My name is Mitch, or Mitchwithonel, and today we'll be talking about the first of 3 of the secret raid bosses found only within the Chaos Chamber at the moment. Now, currently on release, within the base game, I believe the only bosses known as raid bosses are these 3 within the Chaos Chamber, and we will jump into the first one today. Alright, so in order to spawn in these bosses, you have to find the corresponding rune within the Chaos Chamber. Now, I believe you have to be on Chaos Chamber level 5 or 6 initially to find the runes. However, once completed, or once finished this boss, or beaten this boss, you can then find them on the lower levels of the Chaos Chamber, such as 1, 2, and 3. Now, once you find this, you'll go up to this rune, this sigil, this mark, whatever you want to call it, and you'll interact. As you interact, a beam will fly away, and for this particular boss, it's the yellow one, a yellow beam will fly away. And as you can see now on screen, if you follow it, there will be a big glowing rock at the end of the beam. Now, once you break this rock, a large yellow sigil will spawn in the middle with a rotating beam of light around it. Your role here is to shoot and break that central sigil without getting spotted by the spotlight. Now, if you are spotted by the spotlight, don't worry. You have another 2 attempts, I believe, 3 in total. You've got another 2 attempts if you are spotted, but once you are spotted, as I believe I get here, you get blinded, and then it flies away. And similar to the start, when you interact, if you don't break it in time, it'll fly out to another spot. You'll have to chase it again like we do, and then you try and break it. Once you've broken it, you then just have to complete the Chaos Chamber, beat the final boss. However, once you beat the final boss, there'll be 2 portals this time when they spawn. One being red, and one and the standard yellow. The red indicates the raid boss level. Now, once you jump in there, you'll see this beautiful purple ethereal sort of realm. You jump on this little pad, and you'll spot Tina, everyone's favorite. She's got a little bit of dialogue for you, a little bit of hee hee ha ha, what are you doing here, I'm the maker, whatever you want to call it. And then you can jump into a portal and be taken to the world. Now, I'm going to speed up majority of this boss fight. However, when we get to important points, I'll give you tips and tricks on how I beat it and how I believe it is recommended to be beat here. Also, I was fighting this with my friend in a co-op, so if we're playing this, you hear any comms in the background, don't worry, that's just Bailey. Shout out Bailey. So as the boss spawns in, you notice it's huge and the arena is huge. Now, if you try and damage it initially, you can damage it and it's not immune. However, it'll take very minimal amounts of damage. You'll also notice a large variety of attacks going on. There are spikes that come up from underneath the ground, and these can be useful for later, as well as whenever it enters the ground or leaves the ground, a shockwave comes across that you have to jump. On top of that, it has multiple attacks. The first one is, hopefully we'll see it soon, when it looks at you, a red circle will slowly generate with a red line in the middle. After a few seconds, that will explode. So when you get looked at by this boss, you need to move out that circle. I don't believe it health gates you, but it hurts and it does burn you, I believe. As I said earlier, you don't do much damage. The main way to deal damage to this boss, similar to summoning this, and you'll notice this with all 3 bosses. All 3 boss reviews are boss reviews? All 3, whatever you want to call them, when I upload them. Each raid boss has an ability similar to spawning them in. So, here, as you can see on the screen, when Bunniddhog, I probably butchered the fuck out of that. Anyway, when this boss has the sigil above its head, that's when you can deal your damage. It counts as a critical hit point, so you do extra damage, and the idea is to break it. However, similar to before, if you don't break it in time, it will flash and blind you, and it will health gate you, even if you have a bunch of health. I've tried with max level Berserker with around, I think 18 or 16k HP, still instantly health gated, and you get blind and somewhat deafened, like a flashbang sort of thing in a Call of Duty game. My tips here is, if you do manage to get hit by this flashbang, use your minimap and try and locate the closest ad, which is an additional enemy. Locate the nearest skeleton and walk towards it. In case you do go down when blind, you're going to be shooting towards the minimap to try and find something for a second wind. However, if there are no enemies nearby, you can move your crosshair around, and if you find those stones I was talking about earlier, even though they are just stones and won't damage you besides if they impale you, you can break them for a second wind. Kind of a cool interaction because this is quite a tough boss, and the first 2 times I fought this, I lost in groups. Yeah. As you can see now, another phase of damage is when the boss slides around in the desert and it has its beacon like following around in a circle, blinding while you deal damage to it. So when this happens, if you're not behind a rock jump to dodge the blind, because inevitably it will hit you as it moves in a circle, you can turn away. Obviously not with your head, that's not going to change it, but in game, if you flick your mouse, if you move your joystick backwards and it flashes you in the back of the head, you will not get blind. But you do obviously have to time this right, and you can't have that, you know, do the whole fight facing backwards because you won't be able to shoot the boss. But I find this phase the easiest. There is no real issue of danger unless there are ads. Now, with all these tips, the way that I'd recommend to fight the boss is during the main phases where there are no lights, where there are no relics being shown, I like to get rid of all the ads if I can. Typically when you go down, most boss fights will spawn in extra ads to help you get back up, or there'll be stones on the floor, but the ads deal a lot of damage when you are focusing on dodging jumps, dodging spikes, dodging fireballs, and you need to be looking at the boss for when those blinds come in so you can do your big damage. So therefore, when I like to play, I like to clear all the skeletons or the zombies, whatever they are, but during the boss's regular phase. And besides that, get a high crit damage, a high fire rate damage, get whatever strong weapon you can to use on this boss, and make sure it is good at range. It's a huge arena and the boss could be far away, so the closest of shotguns and pistols might not work. So, but you'll be able to see. It's not the hardest boss once you understand all the phases, and hopefully you should be able to kill it real easy now. Alrighty, and if you guys did find this helpful, find this useful, find this beneficial, if you learned something, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, all the standard YouTube things, whatever you do. And also, if you'd like, come follow my Twitch and come hang out. I'll be Wonderlanding for majority of the near future, as well as a little bit of other variety games. But hey, come say hi, come hang out. 8:30 PM AEST or 8 PM South Australian time. Come stop by, come say hi. Alright, have a great have a great rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.